everyone, welcome to Craft Addict K. I am Carla and I want to welcome you to my cross stitch channel and journey. I've been kind of toying with changing my name of the channel from Craft Addict K. For 2025 I'm thinking of changing it to Carla's Stitching Journey because as you can tell I haven't had Samantha with me for almost I think most of the year this year since she's moved out and on her own, and it's been more than just crafts. Most of what I do has been cross stitch. So I think that it's time to take the plunge and take the leap and just make it Carla's Stitching Journey. And I want to welcome you for joining me tonight. Today is what, December 30th, and I will try not to talk fast. I usually talk fast and I tried not to tonight because tonight we're going to do my finishes for the year. And I want to talk about my 2025 plans and include you in them if you so desire to be part of my plans for the coming year. I do intend to do a whip parade. My whip parade will come out at some point. I'm hoping the first week in January. Right now, I'm really pushing hard. I have about 2,400 stitches left to get a big finish for me. It's a full coverage finish. It's not a big project, but it's one that has been needing to be done. So unfortunately you won't see that tonight, but I'm hoping that this video will help you get excited for the new year as much as I am. I'm sorry I'm wiggling back and forth. I've got a mess behind me, as you can tell, but this is my kind of my desk area, and it is a mess because I've been pulling everything up, and I've got, for whatever reason, my phone is dinging. So let's talk finishes. Well, let's talk numbers. Hold on. I wrote all this down today. I did. Let's see. Finishes. I started this year in 1999. I started in 1999. No, I'm lying. I actually started this channel, I believe, in 2019. It was right after, might have been 2018 actually. It was right after COVID. Or before COVID. I went to StitchCon with Samantha, and we decided on the way back from StitchCon that we should do a channel, and this has been created. And I appreciate everybody that subscribes, likes the videos that I put out. Going into 2025, I am going to do a few things different. I'm going to start doing, I promise, Stitch With Me videos. My husband has invested in a quality camera, and we're still playing around with getting the right setup. And part of my whip parade, you're going to see my whip mess because we're going to take all my whips out, and I'm pointing this way because they're on the other side of this filing cabinet. Take all of my whips out and show them to you, and we're going to be splitting up what's my focus for the year of 2025 and what is going to be kind of put in the back burner, and I'm going to get rid of the shelf that I have them on and do some different organization in here. So you'll get to join me on that. But I've always asked, how many whips do I have? And in the year of 2024, I had started the year with 69 whips. I ended up having 18 finishes, but keep in mind that some of those 18 finishes were the small ornaments that my sister got me for my advent calendar last year. And I worked on those periodically. So those were kind of counting into my 18 finishes. When I do my whip parade, as if I have it right, I'm going to be starting 2025 with 58 whips. And a lot of those whips are full coverages that I'm going to be focusing on. So it'll be, I think I'm going to try and do 25 page finishes in 2025 as one of my big goals. There's a few games that I'm going to be involved in for 2025. One of those is Work Your Whips with Grace. That is through Grace Notes Fabrics. And Corinne and I have kind of talked this out at a retreat we were at, decided that this would be a good way for us to both hold each other accountable for not having so many starts without enough finishes. So the deal is, with Work Your Whips with Grace, you could potentially have a new start each month, just a freebie new start, or you can do a new start for each finish. So if I had say in January, I had a finish, I could get a new start for that finish, and I also could get a new start for January. Once February comes, if I didn't use my new start for January, it's gone. It's not, it doesn't accumulate, and then in June I get 6 new starts. That's not how Work Your Whips with Grace works. So if that's something that interests you, please join Grace Notes Fabrics on Facebook. They would be happy to have you join. It's a year-long event, and it was actually good for me this past year. I did not have a whole lot of starts, and I did do a lot of focusing. A couple of the groups, challenge groups that I'm in are closed, and I'll just tell you that they're probably closed. They may open up periodically. One of those is the Daily 30 group. It's Cross Stitch, Journaling, and Daily 30. They periodically will open for limited invites from members. They try and keep the group to around 200 members, so they're not inundated. They do weekly challenge events, they do monthly events, and they do yearly events. So that has been a good way for me to use my stitches, because they do offer alternates. If you're new to my channel, I do count cross stitch. I count my stitches. I also participate in a lot of Facebook challenge groups. I've slimmed down some. It won't seem like it when I'm telling you about it, but I have slimmed down some. I'm in a team event called Hell Stitchin'. And right now they're not having new kitchens formed, but that may change, because I did see a recent post asking if people were not intending to continue into next year, that there was a waiting list of people that wanted to join and wanted to create a kitchen team. So Jurassic Stitches is another team event that I stitch with. Colleen is our leader. We're the Brachiosaurus babes. I'm also going to do WIPGO this year, 2025 WIPGO. So I have been a WIPGO failure every year. And this year I watched Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I watched her channel regarding WIPGO, and she's changing it up some this year. And I changed mine up this year. So I'm going to show you my WIPGO board, and I will show you, I'm going to give you a walkthrough after I show you the finishes of my, a little quick walkthrough of my stitching journal. It's going to be very impromptu. So I'm in the Western PA, Eastern Ohio cross stitch group. You are welcome to join that. That is an open group. You do not need to be a part of Western PA or Eastern Ohio to join the group. And I do challenges every other week. I post challenges in that group, and we are doing a yearly, it's actually 2-year challenge. It's a USA challenge, and what we're doing is each letter of the alphabet, each letter in the state's name is worth so many stitches, and you stitch those to kind of travel per se across the United States, and we're hitting all the states. A closed group, it's just starting. They only have 20 people, very small, very closed group, but it's a stitching Monopoly group. You may hear me talk about that periodically in the upcoming year. Monopoly seems to be very popular across the Facebook cross stitch challenges. So I'm thinking, with it being so popular, there's probably a lot of spin-offs. I know Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, she does a Monopoly. A lot of people play along with her and pretend like they are one of her tokens as she makes it go around the board. I think it's a great idea to motivate your stitches. So I'm going to try that out. I'm in a Fun with Cross Stitch group. I think that they are still having members come in. That's ran by Sharon. Boy, I could be saying, I might be Shannon. I think it's Sharon. But the Fun with Cross Stitch group is, the leaders mostly are in Australia. And we have been on a safari trip. So I'm on the final level of the safari trip and collecting animals. And the road trip for that group should be starting really soon. So I'll show you my checklist for that. And All the Floss of the Fair, which is a closed group, but it's based on, it's a video game, and it has like the roller coasters, and you know, if you think about like Sims, and you make your own park. Well, of course I have Jack's Screaming Adventure, because, you know, Jack and Sally. I like Jack and Sally. Like the artwork. I don't know. It's not so much the story as much as it is the artwork. Anyways, so I have Jack's Screaming Adventure, and I also have a park in that group called Oogie's Boogie Stadium, and I'm with that with a friend of mine, Sue, and her and I stitch on that one together. So I know that seems like a lot. One last group I'm just going to mention, they don't do challenges, but it is an open group, and it's called Stitch Along Friends, and that was created at the Grace Notes Retreat in August, this past August, and it is primarily for the long dog sow. A lot of us are starting Love at First Sight, and we decided to make it a Sal, and then we decided to make a Facebook group. That is run by Mary Barbara, and it doesn't have challenges per se, but it is a great way that we're motivating each other, and you don't have to do the love at first sight. If you're stitching any long dog, we'd be happy to have you. Really, any Sal. We would be happy to be enabled. I know I'm doing Tisket a Tasket Sal, and Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, is running that, and she's in the group, and every now and then she'll post updates. So if you are a stitch along person and you like to do that and be motivated with your friends, then please, by all means, please join the Stitch Along with Friends on Facebook. Okay, that was a whole lot of talking. How about you want to see my finishes? All right, so 18 finishes. Got my list. I got my list. This is in no particular order, but the first one I'm going to tell you about is Cinnamon Stars. It is by Plum Street Sampler, and I don't have it with me because it is hanging downstairs, so I'm going to insert the photo here. I did this on a 32 count Belfast linen called Flax. It is considered a medium stitch. I started it May 16th of 2020, and I finished it January 13th of 2024. So the next thing, and a lot of these, let me see, what did I do with them? Oh, here they are. A lot of these I kind of combined together. So bear with me. I'm going to go through all these ornaments. Actually, just had one. And you may have seen these in recent videos because I did show them once before, I think. So where did I put? I know. Okay. So I purchased from Michaels, I got these Heritage Valley jars. So my thoughts were to put the ornament on the top of the jar, like to make it and put a ribbon around it and maybe fill it with candy or something to give as a gift to my staff. That was my thought. I didn't make it this year, but I'm hoping maybe next year. So with that in mind, here's the first one. I should have brought, oh, got a little board anyway. Okay, so I have, this is the North Pole, and I'm going to try and set them over here. I have a Christmas wreath, and these were really cute. She did these little boxes, and it had all of the floss for each ornament in the box. There's a little and everything was in each box with the symbols, and so it was easy for me to just grab a little pillow box with these little ornaments already kitted, ready to go. There's a little fireplace, and I would take these when we'd go on road trips because it's on Aida. So easy stitching for me. And I took these and would stitch them when I had nothing else to do in the car while my husband Nestor was driving. I would be stitching. Did a hot coffee or a hot cocoa cup. And I think there's more, but I don't know what I did with them. And then I have this little gingerbread man. So I'm sure that I have more. I might have gifted some of them already. I do have, this is Happy Frog by Romy's Creations. It is a small as well. Very quick stitch. But I finished that September 4th of this year. And it was one that was created for our group. My sister had it created by Romy, and I love it. I'm putting this one actually on my finishing bag is what I had planned for that because I really like that one. Well, I like them all, but I like that one the most. Okay. Then, that you haven't seen, I've had a new start and finish in the past month. So, I'm going to show you. This is Rejoice. It is by M Designs. It is on a Mystery Grace Notes fabrics I had. I think it's probably 32 count. But the color was a mystery. I started it December 4th of this past year, 2024, and I finished it December 20th of 2024. And if you remember this pattern, if you watched my last video, this came as a Pass the Stash from my friend Marianne. She had purchased 2 by accident. She sent me 1, and I'm just so honored that she sent that to me. And then I said, I have to stitch that. She decided to stitch it with me, so the two of us finished within a few days of each other. It was fun. The only thing I don't have on this is this star, because I didn't finish it yet. But I do plan to put that star at the very top. And I don't have, that board's not going to work for me. This I stitched with Silks from Silks for You. And don't ask me the color, because I don't remember. And I used beads for the first time. Oh, some pearlescent beads. So can you see the beads on there? And the word up the side is rejoice. Starts with an R down here at the bottom. And it's rejoice, and rejoice on the flip side, the mirror side of it. So this was a lot of fun. And I started and finished. I think I'm going to turn this into just like a little wall hanging. And I'm going to put this yellow star right at the top. Right now it's still a button, so it's hard for me to show you, but there you go. You can get the idea of that yellow star up at the top. Just gives a little bit of pop of color. But this was the first project I finished using Silks for You. And I have lots of silks. And the first time I've done beading with invisible thread. I mean, I've done Mill Hill kits, but beading on fabric is a little bit different. But that is my rejoice. And that was a start and finish. I don't want to lose my star. It's the only star I had. Only star I had. Okay. Exciting, right? The other finish that I had is by Kimberly Mueller, and it's called Land of the Free. It is a large pattern. I started it December 19th, 2021. I finished it December 20th, 2024. It's on a white even weave, and it is called Land of the Free. And I loved stitching this. I did a lot of conversions because I had some primitive Victorian motto threads that I wanted to use in a project, and I decided this was the project that I was going to use it on. So here is the finished. See if I can get that. And it says the land of the free because of the brave. And I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer so you can see like each of the, like George Washington with the flag. And it just kind of goes up with the different outfits on the people, and even the flags change. And it was very autumnal colors. I had a lot of fun stitching this. The houses were an easy stitch. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed stitching this. So that is Land of the Free by Kimberly Mueller. And it's just a random piece. Look, I still have this. I'm going to have laced, and I will get it framed as well. I want to hang that. So I'm trying not to. Okay, the next finish I had was Deadly Aquarium, and that is from Lola Studios. And I stitched it on 32 count Sarah. It's an even weave by Grace Notes Fabrics. I started it April 12th of 2024, and I finished it December 12th of 2024. And I have a whole lot of fabric left. I'll show you. Whole lot of fabric left. So I will cut this down to size. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it though yet. So I will cut it down. Sorry, I'm just kind of, I love this Sarah fabric. I really do. It was a mystery stitch along. You didn't know what it was till the pieces would come out each week. If I was to do it again, which I do like her stitch alongs, it's very well charted. I did leave a few little, there was little things here. I left them out. I didn't like them. I didn't backstitch everything. I backstitched where I felt it needed it. But if I was to do it again, I would have backstitched as I went. Instead, I did not. So, see if I can get this up here closer for you. This is the Deadly Aquarium. And no, I did not iron anything. If you are expecting ironed projects, this isn't the place to come because I don't iron them. The next finish I had by Autumn Lane Stitchery called Moons Out, Brooms Out. It is on a 25 count even weave by Grace Notes Fabrics. I think it's called Accidental is the name of it. And I started this December 22nd of 2023, and I finished it November 23rd of 2024. I really lit a fire under my butt. The last retreat I went to and decided this needed to be a finish. I stitched it 1/1 on 25 count, and this is how she turned out. Moon's out, broom's out. It was a fun stitch. I started down here with the houses and worked my way up. This will probably be framed, and then I'll put it out at Halloween time, like on my desk, is what I'm thinking, because it is pretty small. So it'll be an easy thing to finish. Are you having fun yet? Okay, let's see. We have, this was a birthday start for me. It was Scarlet House's Seeking Refuge. It's on an even weave 32 count, just a cream colored even weave. I don't even know what it is, but sorry, I got the itchy nose. And I did forget a few of my starts, so I will, or finishes. Let me see. I started it June 10th of 2020. That was during COVID. And I finished it October 5th of 2024. And I enjoyed stitching on this. I did make some conversions to the ribbon on the top. I changed the ribbon on the top. I also did not do, the original pattern has a big band of black and flowers on the bottom, and I opted instead to put another row of the green diamonds across the bottom. So it says, when the world seems to be out of control, I find a way to nurture my soul, seeking refuge with needle and thread, the angst and anxiety I no longer dread, no longer I dread. This was, really spoke to me during the COVID. You know, I'm a nurse. There's a lot of things going on for all of us. So this will be framed. Okay. And the last one that I brought in here with me is my Early American series. This is by Little House Needleworks. It is on 28 count light gray even weave. I started it May 13th of 2019, and I finished it July 25th of 2024. And this is my finish. And I don't think I can get, oh, there, I can get back far enough you can see them all. But let me come up here a little closer. John Hancock, Betsy Ross, Martha Washington, Paul Revere, Molly Pitcher, Abigail Adams. I remember reading about these people too. Patrick Henry, Nathan Hale, and then the bottom one says Freedom. This I enjoyed stitching. It is all converted into Valdani threads. I got from the shop that did the conversion. And the shop is in Ohio. What's it called? It's near, oh, the name's escaping me. I will try and look and see if I can find it. Stitch in Hand, I think. Stitch in Hand. And it's near Worthington, Ohio, I think. It begins with a W, I think. So, that's a finish. And what didn't make it in here, and if I can find the pictures, I will insert them. I finished the Steel City Stitchers had a freebie incline stitch. I finished that. And I'm looking at my list. And then Dirty Annie's made a pattern, the Steel City Retreat 2024, and it has bridges on it. If I can find my picture, I will insert that in here as well. And I finished that in June 28th of 2024. I think everything else on my list I have shown you. So those were my finishes for 2024. And I'm going to give you some inside secrets. My goal for 2024 was to reach 200,000 stitches for a total stitch count for the year. Today is December 30th. I still have 2 more days of stitching before the new year. and I am over 207,000 stitches. I am so over the moon excited. As you know, since October, I have been doing a different game. I called it my spinning game. And that spinning game has really like blown my stitches out of the water. All 3 months, October, November, and December, were record months of stitching for me across the board. So I didn't want to wait to the new year to share what I did in case you would like to join in with me. So I have a new game. And I'm calling my game the Wheel of Fortune. I know, I'm sorry. I'm so excited about this game. I have been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and how to make it interesting that you all would also like. Sorry, my watch vibrated. That you all would also think it was interesting. So let me tell you about it, and then we're going to show you what I'm going to do. So I made a wheel on my tiny decision wheel, and you can make your own, or you can go and roll with me. I'm fine, whatever you would like to do. I have 30 options on the wheel. My option stitch counts range from 500 stitches to 5,000 stitches. Okay, I know that's a lot, but remember, I'm a full coverage stitcher and I like big stitches. But this time I've added some twists to my wheel. So I pulled 15 projects. 15 projects means there's a 50-50 chance out of those 30 options something drastic is going to happen. I am going to spin the wheel for each one. I have quarterly goals for each one of those 15 projects. Each month that I spin the wheel, I will work to get to my wheel spin goal, but then I will take it off of the final goal to make sure that I'm getting to where I need to be. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So I added some twists to the wheel. So now my twisted Wheel of Fortune has a bankrupt. And what that means is if I spin a bankrupt, all the stitches on that particular project that I had put in towards the goal has now vanished. I'm back at zero. None of those stitches will count towards my goal. In other words, if my quarterly goal is 4,000 stitches and I've reached 3,000 of those and I roll a bankrupt on that project, those 3,000 stitches are no longer applied to that goal and I start back over at zero. I have a wild card where I choose the amount of stitches. I have a lose a turn. Lose a turn means that whip will be skipped for that month. It will not get any stitches. I have a respin. And what a respin does is I spin again, but I also need to add 500 stitches to whatever the respin is. I also have swap out project. And what a swap out means is I get to pick off the list of my whips that are not part of my 15 focus pieces. It's something that was a set aside, that is on a shelf in the back room that needs to, that I want to, I think I'm going to switch this out. And I'm going to switch it out with a project, whatever our project rolls a swap out. And then I have wheel reset. So I have my Wheel of Fortune set that each spin as it comes up, comes off. It's not eligible for future spins until there's a wheel reset. Once there's a wheel reset, everything comes back to live again. So I think that's going to make it very, very interesting. If I meet the quarterly goal before the quarter, I'm allowing myself to either one, pull another whip out to play with in its place, or two, I could choose the option to increase that quarter goal and increase it to continue to work on it, especially if I'm hitting all the goals, which I did in this last month. So I'm really excited about that. I have adjusted some of my goals. So do you want to know which ones I'm doing? And do we want to go ahead and do the spins? And then I will give you a walkthrough of my binder. Ready? I'm ready. Okay. Let me get my green. Let me get this. Let me show you my board. I started my board. So I have each of my 15 whips, and I put in, this is their goals, these are my quarter goals. And so we're going to spin for each one. Can you see them? And we're going to go ahead and update them. Jen, in her magical dry erase board, has been very helpful for me. So let's see. I just go right in order, but you guys hold me accountable because I'm doing it live. As you can see, my wheel is ready. Wheel of Fortune. So our first project is going to be 2,000 stitches on Alligator Girl. So let's put 2,000, which is good because I would really like to do some work on Alligator Girl. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That didn't black out. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. Next one up. 1,000 stitches on Amazing Animal Kingdom. I haven't worked on that one either. These two projects have they met their goal right away at the very beginning, and then I haven't worked on them in the last couple of quarters. Oh, what's this? 500 for Chocolate More Chocolate. I'm glad we're getting numbers here. Sorry, I keep setting it down, but I only have so many hands. There we go, 1,000 stitches on Huckleberry Farm, which I am hoping Huckleberry Farm will be a finish early in the year. I'm close. I think that'll get me a lot closer. Oop, almost threw my phone at you. Is that 3,000? Yep, 3,000 stitches on Innocent Dream. That is the new HAID they sent out. I haven't started it yet. That's going to be my New Year's start. Oh, swap project out. What am I swapping out? Oh, Little House Neighborhood. Okay, that's going to be a swap. I'm going to have to think of what I want to swap that with. And it'll only be a swap for the month. So you'll be surprised to see what I swap it out with. What's next? Ah, Bankrupt. Love at First Sight went bankrupt, which means no stitches in, no stitches out. So we're going to spin again. Because I don't have any stitches to lose. Right? There we go. 500. We'll do 500 on Love at First Sight. That is the new Long Dog cell. And I have not started that yet. So I got to finish something to start it. And you can see my wheel is turning black. That's because I have it set so that it doesn't repeat. 1,500 stitches on Once Upon a Fairy Tale. That's another focus for me, which will be good because my goal for that is 6,000 stitches. Another 1,500 stitches for Phantom. That's good. I'm working my way down on Phantom. Wheel reset. Yay. Okay, so what that means is I'm going to hit my button at the bottom. It says reset wheel, and all those things, including bankrupt, comes back out to play. So now my wheel is back up again. So let's see. What are we going to do? 1,000 stitches on Stargazer. Oh, my husband was probably hoping for a 5,000 on that one, to be honest. He really wants that Stargazer done. 2,000 on Tisket a Tasket. I wish that one was a swap sometimes, I think. So 2,000. U.S. Travel Shelf is next. 1,000 on the U.S. Travel Shelf. Okay, so Evergreen Mini is on here. That's a February plan start I have for in February. So I'm not going to spin for that for this month, but I wanted it on my 15. So I rolled 2,000. So that will go on the next one, which is the Twin Towers and Flag. And if you notice, 2,000 spun, but the goal for my quarterly goal is 2,000 on the Twin Towers. So if I get that done, then that is one that I could potentially replace, or I could put extend and make it a bigger outcome. If it looks like I'm going to really make progress and I'm enjoying stitching on it, I may increase the quarterly goal. And the last one is Pumpkin Spice, and you haven't seen this one either. You saw it in my last video. I haven't kitted it up yet, but I wanted it on my list. I'm going to spin for it, but I don't know that I'm going to get it started. That one might come later in the quarter, but I'm going to go ahead and spin for it anyway. 2,000. So if I do get it started. Okay, so there's our numbers. 15 projects of focus. If you want to play along, by all means, please do. You can take those numbers and you can put them with your own projects. Figure out what your quarterly goal is. How much do you think you can stitch in a quarter? I figured out with this total, if I divided it by 4 months, it would put me at about a little over 17,000 stitches a month. Sorry about the glare. And I usually do around 18,000. I still have other projects other than these 15 I will be stitching on because I am in a mystery round robin, but you won't see that and I won't be able to show you those projects. And I also am on a floral round robin with some Hannah and Corinne and some other people. So, but it's just one motif. So I didn't make that part of this. What am I going to swap that for? You know what? I'm going to decide when I do my whip parade because I'll bet you there's something on those shelves that I would swap out, even though it's just for a month. So I am not showing any project because I know I'm going to be doing a whip parade later this week. So I didn't want to take time to show you progress for December because you're going to see it all in my whip parade. I did want to take time to show you my happy planner very quickly, very rudimentary, I will say. So here is my happy planner. Big circles. You can have your whatever, notebook. It doesn't matter. But I'm just going to give you a quick, like, this is my U.S. travel stuff I highlight as I do things. But I wanted to show you my challenge sheets. I do like squares. And as I need, whatever my goal is, I mark it off. Let me see. Here's one that I've been working on. You can see all the chicken scratch on there. And that's because as I reach the goal, I add on the next. It's a whole thing. I could do a whole video on just that because it makes people crazy. I have my 2025 goals that I did for Determined Stitchers. And these were my 2025 goals. I just found if you write it down, you're more apt to actually do it. I don't know. I like checklists too, so I want to check it off. So that was 2025 goals. And Daily 30, the group that I'm in, they have weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. So what I did was I took just like, what do you call this paper that's got the dot grid. I just took dot grid paper. I made a graph. There's 54 weeks in a year. So as I do each weekly challenge for that week, when I'm finished, I can mark it off. Same thing with the monthly. There's 12 months in a year. If I finish that monthly, I can mark it off. Then down here is my, we had to pick 3 projects. We're supposed to do 500 stitches and then take a picture. 3 projects by the same designer. They included Haid as one designer. So I have Stargazer, Innocent Dreams, and Alligator Girl as my 3 Heaven and Earth designs. And these little diagrams that I put in here is 500 each. So once I hit where I have written the numbers, that means I hit 5,000. I have the option to switch out, but I don't plan to switch any of these projects out. These are 3 I want to make sure I make good progress on. Okay. So that's Daily 30. Pop Culture. I didn't mention Pop Culture. They are an open group on Facebook and do challenges. They also do weekly, monthly challenges as well. And their yearly challenge is doing the alphabet. So I made the sheet and it's A through Z. You're supposed to do each letter 10 times. I chose the 1,000 stitches for each. And the letter has to. The letter can be pattern title, designer's name, something found in the project. So I have been doing this for the last probably 4 or 5 years. I don't know, since it started. And I do 1,000 stitches each. I don't typically get all the letters done. It's hard to come up with Z and Q words. But if you do samplers and you have those letters in your pattern, that works. I just don't do a lot of samplers. So, but I am going to try and like start at A and try and get all the A's done. Then go to B and try and get all the B's done, just to give myself an added challenge this year and see how inventive I can get. So that's and I have 2 spaces on this side just because if I have something open, say I switched a project and I didn't meet my 1,000 yet, then I know I need to go back. That's for pop culture. This is the Safari game and how I track what I've been doing, building my base camp, and these are the animals that we collect. And as I said, I'm in the 3rd section now, so each thing I'm building in my camp is 3,000 stitches, and when I start collecting animals, it's 1,500 stitches for each animal. So that's going to get me some stitches going. Then I have my Jack's Adventure, and this is just like a task list. And how many stitches do I need for that task? And as I do them, I mark them off. You could use that for any project, so it's very simple. You just put the task you're working on, and then how many stitches do you need, and when it's done, you just mark it off. So if you have a group that you're in, because I have one with Grace Nuts Fabrics, I have my dog kennel and my cat house, and so every month there's a number of stitches that I do for feeding my dogs and taking care of my cats. And so that's on here as a list. And so I know when I'm done, I will highlight that off. I know it seems crazy, but for me, it helps me, keeps me motivated. The Fun with Cross Stitch Road Trip. So this is the sheet I made. So I haven't seen the itinerary, but what I know is there's 47 stops in the first route. And so I made a graph, put 47. There is photo ops, there's 10 photo ops, and then there's 7 off the beaten path. They had 3 fuel stops, and then there's activities that you may get involved in and bonuses. So I thought, well, this will work. It'll help keep me on track, like, so I know what do I have left, where am I at, what stop am I on, all of that. So I'm excited for the road trip to be released so I can see where I'm going and what I'm doing. And then I have WIPGO, I think. Yep, WIPGO. So this is my WIPGO board. You can tell there's a Jack theme here. In January, she called 11 and 20. Now for me, my WIPGO, I'm going to count from the time she releases the numbers, then I'm free to do that. So you're going to see over here, it says 11 and 20. 20 was kit up a project, which I did, so I highlighted that off. And number 11 is a new start, which I will be doing on New Year's Day, so I'll be able to highlight that off. So on the projects, I'm going to do 1,000 stitches each. Before I mark it off, they get 1,000 stitches. And I put things in here like there's a couple FFOs because, as you can tell, I finish things, but I don't FFO them. So I want to FFO some. So I put a couple FFO spots. I put a couple of new starts in there. There's a SAL in there to work on my SAL. Stitch an ornament. Stitch your smallest whip. Stitch one that's closest to a finish. Here we go. Put away all dekitted floss. Like, I've got buckets of floss that needs put away. A patriotic piece, a full coverage piece, non-full coverage. Something with a musical in some way. I was just trying to be very generic. I think the problem that I've had with WIPGO in the past is it's been very specific and it's not really what I want to stitch on. And I think this gives me more flexibility, plus it gives me some projects that I've been wanting to do, like get my cubicle organized. It's overrun. It needs organized. That's one of the things that's on here, is to organize my cubicle. So I think it gives me some flexibility, which I like. And this is just so I can write down each month what the numbers that were drawn. So I'll know if I missed any. So that's my WIPGO board. And I have the same thing you have seen on my board, I have here for me to keep track. It's my quarterly tracker for my goals. So it's got the 15 whips each month, what I spun, and then I have how many stitches did I actually do. So it'll help keep me on track that way too, because I like to see the numbers going down. And I do keep the board out in a place that I see it, and it helps me motivate me to, like, okay, once I get these stitches done, what's the next one I want to pull out and work on? Sometimes I'll go with the highest number. Sometimes I will go with the lowest number. It just depends on where I'm at, how I'm feeling, what do I feel like stitching on. Then the rest of my binder really is just calendar stuff. So it's just calendar for me to make notes, write things down, make sure I don't forget certain things. But that's really, oh, I should show you this because you might like it. I don't know. Every day, this is one of the things that I do. This is my 2024 daily count sheet. So it's the days of the month, and across the top has the months of the year. And then every day I put my total stitches in. So yesterday I had 961 stitches. And down across the bottom I add things up at the end of the month. So actually my computer adds them up. But I like to write them down so I don't forget. And I use one of these each month, which is how I can track. It's the days of the month, and then here is the whips that I stitched. So each day of the month, the first half of the month is up here, the second half is down here, and then I total it up at the very last column. And this is what I use whenever I'm doing my videos and doing my monthly wrap-ups, is so that I have the totals and I know what I stitched when I stitched it. So, and this is my 2025 fresh, clean start, ready to go. Ready to go. So, that, in a nutshell, is my finishes and my plans. And I don't want to rush, but I'm going to rush because I have 2,400 stitches to do on that whip to get it done before the end of the year. And that's my goal. So, I hope that you have found this to be informative, helpful, motivating, enjoying to watch, and I will see you soon with my whip parade. Bye, everybody.